Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Book of the Month. If you don't know what Book of the Month is a book subscription service where you can pick out hardcover or audiobook for a specific price each month. Book of the Month also comes with perks the longer you are with Book of the Month. This month we have 6 books to choose from, and I have picked out 4 books. So book number 1 was one of my choices. It is a fantasy. It is called A Fate Inked in Blood. It is by Danielle L. Jensen. Now, I don't read a lot of fantasy, but one of my reading goals for this year is to break out of my reading comfort zone because my favorite genre of books is romance. So I don't really typically read a lot of other genres. I have tried thrillers last year and I enjoyed them. So now I want to add fantasy in the mix. The quick take for this book is grab your swords and shields. This epic story, romance, and bravery will have you amped up for love and the battlefield. Okay, I already think I'm gonna like this fantasy because it incorporates romance. I did not know that when I chose this book. I just kind of chose the books based off of the covers and the titles when I picked out my books. I don't actually look at what it's about until I get on camera with you guys. This book is 400 plus pages. It's the first in a series. It is salacious. It is a romantasy. Oh, that's cute. Romantasy. Romance and fantasy combined. I like the word. The synopsis for this book. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish, but dreams of becoming a warrior. Okay, this is already kind of giving me Mulan vibes a little bit just by that little line. And putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly becomes reality when her husband betrays her to the region Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against her own son. Okay, I'm sad already. Why is she fighting her son? And why would her husband do this? Bjorn, to survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She processes a drop of a goddess blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capabilities of respelling any attack. And it has been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation, Skyland, beneath the one who controls the Shield Maiden's fate. Believing he is destined to rule Skyland as king, the fanatical Jar bends. Believing he's destined to rule Skyland as king, the fanatical Jar binds Freya's blood. Believing he is destined to rule Skyland as king, the fanatical Jar binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing hellacious tests by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya scrummaged to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her destiny, but the fate of all the people she's sworn to protect. Okay, this book sounds amazing. Love versus the people you are supposed to protect. This book is also kind of giving me Frozen vibes. If you know Elsa, when they binded Elsa's powers, then Elsa's powers came back, and then she found out she had them again, and she became queen. So this book is giving me Mulan because the warrior part, but Frozen because of the binding of the powers. Book number 2 is a thriller. called Listen for the Lies by Amy Tintera. The quick take: keep your ears and eyes open. Somewhere in this small Texas town is telling a story that just doesn't quite add up. This book has multiple viewpoints, unreliable narration. It's salacious and snarky. I do love a good multiple viewpoint book. If you don't know what multiple viewpoint books are, they are one chapter of one character's perspective, then the next chapter is a different character's perspective. Multiple viewpoint books are my favorite books to read because they let you see the story from more than one side. There is a content warning for this book. Please read all content warnings for books before you decide to read a book, just in case the content warning is something that triggers you. I will highlight the content warning for you. So here's the content warning. The content warning is DA. Here's the content warning. Synopsis: if you thought you murdered your best friend, and if anyone else thought so too, and what if the truth doesn't matter? The truth always matters. The truth always will come out, especially when you try to cover up lies. You might get away with the lie for a while, but you won't get away with it forever. After Lucy is found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she's the murderer. Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town. Pretty, smart, and invincible. Lucy married her dream guy with a big ring and an even bigger home. Savvy was the social butterfly, loved by all, if you believe the rumors, especially popular with men in the town. It's been years since that horrible night. A night Lucy can't remember anything about. She has since moved to LA and started a new life. Okay, was there not an investigation for this murder, or just people went off of what they saw and things like that? But the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast, Listen for the Lie, and its two good-looking hosts, Ben Owens, have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to a place she vowed she never stepped foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she's the one who did that. So my question is now, did Lucy actually do it? Did someone set Lucy up? Or is Lucy covering up for someone? And why can't Lucy remember what happened? Remember, there is a content warning for this book. I have highlighted it for you. Book number 3 is a literary fiction called Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. The quick take: a robot's girlfriend. That's interesting. Is the robot's girlfriend a human, or is it another robot? Got some questions. A robot's girlfriend, tumultuous coming of age, is a gut-wrenching examination of modern romance, agency, and humanity. The quick take for this book is emotional, feminine, salacious tech world. I am so intrigued by this robot girlfriend. Is the robot dating a human? Are they trying to program a robot to have human emotions? What's the deal with the robot? There is a content warning for this book too. I have highlighted the content warning. The content warning is SA. Once again, please check all content warnings for books before you read them, just in case the content warning is something that triggers you. Annie Bot was created to be the perfect girlfriend for her human owner. Okay, this line of the synopsis, if you've ever seen the Disney Channel original movie with China and McClane called How to Build a Better Boy. That's what this reminds me of, just from that one line. Designed to satisfy his emotional and physical needs, she has dinner ready for him every night, wears the pert outfit he orders for her, and adjusts her libido to suit his mood. Okay, this sounds, I would have to say, perfect for Doug, but the twist is, in my mind, is the robot going to turn evil because you tried to program it to your needs? Is the robot going to start talking about, I'm tired of fulfilling your needs, what about my needs? Because is it going to somehow turn into a robot with human emotions? True, she's not the greatest at keeping Doug's place spotless, but she tries to keep him pleased. She's trying hard. Okay, why didn't Doug make the robot not only take care of his emotional and physical needs, but why didn't he program the robot to keep his house clean? Like, if she can cook, she can also clean. Why did he leave out the cleaning part? Doesn't he want to come home to a nice dinner and a spotless house? She's learning to. Doug says he loves that Annie's AI makes her seem more real. Annie's explored human traits such as curiosity, security, and longing, but becoming more human also means becoming less perfect. And as Annie's relationship with Doug grows more intricate and difficult, she starts to wonder, does Doug really desire what he says he wants? And in such an impossible paradox, what does Annie owe herself? I am so intrigued by this book. The title, when I saw the title didn't intrigue me. But the synopsis of the robot girlfriend, the AI situation, the emotional, the physical, and now Annie AI is starting to turn more human, intrigues me so much. Once again, there is a content warning for this book. It is SA and it's highlighted for you now. Book number 4 is a contemporary fiction called Anita DiMonte, Last Laugh. It is by, I don't know how you say this author's name, so I'm going to skip over the author's name because I have no idea how you say it. The quick take. From campus to gallery, this engrossing tale of two female artists paints a complex portrait of power and privilege. This book is 80s. It has a non-linear timeline, social issues, NYC. So this book takes place in New York. This book also has a content warning. It is highlighted and the content warning is DV. Synopsis. 1985, Anita DiMonte, a rising star in the art world, is found dead in New York City. Her tragic death is the talk of the town until it isn't. By 1998, Anita's name has been all but forgotten. Certainly by the time Raquel, a third-year art history student, is preparing her final thesis. On College Hill, surrounded by privileged students whose futures are already paved out for them, Raquel feels like an outsider. Students of color like her are the minorities there. The pressure to work twice as hard for the same opportunity is no secret. But when Raquel becomes romantically involved with a well-connected older art student, she finds herself unexpectedly rising up the social ranking. As she attempts to straddle both worlds, she stumbles upon Anita's story, raising the questions about the dynamic in her own relationship. Eerily mirrors that of the forgotten artist, moving back and forth through time, told from the perspective of both women. Anita DiMonte's Last is a propulsive, witty examination of love and art, daring to ask who gets to be remembered, who is left behind in a rarefied world of elite. Once again, there is a content warning for this book. It is highlighted and the content warning is DV. Book number 5 was my second choice. It is a thriller. It is by Stephen Kavanaugh. It is called Kill for Me, Kill for You. The title of this book intrigues me. There is a content warning for this book as well. It mentions a type of death. The content warning is highlighted on the screen for you. The quick take for this book: 2 women out for revenge hatch a plot to help each other, but in the Big Apple, the best laid plans can easily go awry. This book is psychological, multiple viewpoints, my favorite. I love a good multiple viewpoint because you get to see the story from many different perspectives, and seeing it from different perspectives adds so many layers to the book. It is action-packed, and it also takes place in New York City. The synopsis: one dark evening on the New York City Upper West Side. New York City and the Upper West Side reminds me of the show Gossip Girls. 2 strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and an intense desire for revenge against the man who destroyed their family. So, were they dating this man? Were they cheated on? How did this man destroy their families is my question. And was it the same man that destroyed their family? Or is it 2 different men? As they talk into the night, they come up with the perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. This sounds like it belongs on CSI, NCI, or a Bones episode, if you've seen any of those shows. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband Scott is invaded. She attacked by the man with piercing blue eyes, who disappears into the night. Will she ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is out there? Indicated and heart-racing, kill for me, kill for you. You will keep you breathless until the final page. Now, I did pick up this book and I'm very intrigued. The title is what got me, and I wonder what these men or man did to betray these women, and do they get away with their revenge is what I want to know. Remember, there is a content warning for this book as well. It is a type of death. The last book is a memoir. It is a debut book. It is called Hereafter, and it is by Amy Lim. There is a content warning for this book as well. It is highlighted on the screen. The content warning is about your thoughts, but you can read the words on the screen. Synopsis: when he dies, I fall out of time. Amy Lynn never expected to find love like the one she shared with her husband, Curtis, a gifted young architect who pulls her towards joy, adventure, and greater self-acceptance. On a sweltering August morning, only a few months shy of the newlyweds moving to Vancouver, 32-year-old Curtis heads out to run a half marathon with Amy's family. It's the last time she'll see her husband alive. 10 days after the Cinemas's loss, Amy is in the hospital navigating her own shocking medical crisis, making life or death decisions about her own treatment. What follows is a rich, unflinching, honest betrayal of her life with Curtis, the vectors created by his death, and an ongoing struggle Amy faces as she attempts to understand her own experience in the context of commonly held truths about what the grieving process looks like. Hereafter is an intimate story of deep love followed by dizzying loss, a memoir so finely that Its power will remain with you long after the final page. Okay, reading this synopsis makes me sad, and I think it is very powerful and courageous for Amy to share her story. The last two books I picked up were not a part of March choices, so I'll show you the last two books now. This is the third book I chose. It is called Happily Ever After by Lynn Painter. You can find this book in the new releases section on Book of the Month if you're looking for this. It is a romance book. The quick take. Have you ever doubted your husband-to-be? Enlist these pro-wedding crashers, but be warned, they might be hot for each other. This book is multiple viewpoint. It is millennial, salacious, and wedding. There's a question for you guys. Would you crash somebody's wedding? And if professional or pro wedding crashers was a job you could get paid for, would you do it? Synopsis. Their name, their objector, their job, to break off weddings as hired. Their dilemma. They might just be in love with each other. When Sophie Steinbeck finds out just before her nuptials, her fiancé has cheated on her again. So how many times did the fiancé actually cheat on you? Just curious. She desperately wants to call it off, but because her future father-in-law is her dad's cutthroat boss, she doesn't want to be the one to do it. So she doesn't want to marry this guy, but since her dad worked for her fiancé's father, she doesn't want to leave him because she's afraid that her father will lose his job. Well, that's illegal because that's not a reason to fire the father, but I understand the sentiment that she's coming from. Her savior comes in the form of professional objectors who supposedly show up at the wedding proclaiming. Her savior comes in the form of a professional objector whose purpose is to show up at the wedding and proclaim the word no couple usually wants to hear at their ceremony. I object. During anti-wedding festivities that night, Sophie learns more about Max, the objector, job. It makes perfect sense to her. He saves people from wasting their lives, from hurting each other. He's a modern day hero, and Sophie wants in. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily call Max a hero. Maybe he's objecting for the right reasons so these people won't get married. I'll give him that. But the person should be able to tell the person the truth of why they don't want to marry them. They should have that conversation way before you get to the altar. The two love cynics start working together, going from wedding to wedding, and Sophie is having more fun than she's had in ages. She looks forward to every nerve-wracking ceremony, saving the lovesick souls of the betrothed masses. As Sophie and Max spend more time together, however, they realize that their physical chemistry is off the charts, leading them to dabble in a little hookup session or two. But it's totally fine because they definitely do not have feelings for each other. They're lying to each other. So if they don't have feelings, they only have lust for each other but no love for each other. That's my question. Love doesn't exist after all. And then everything changes. A groom to be hires Sophie to object. But then his fiancée is the woman who broke Max's heart. And Max wrestles with whether or not he can be a party to his ex getting hurt. Sophie grapples with the sudden realization that she may be falling harder for her partner in crime. This book sounds interesting to me. The wedding crashing and breaking up people's almost wedding, and how much of the story do you know? Because what if you're breaking up? Either way, somebody's getting hurt. And that doesn't seem right or fair, or why would you want to put somebody through that heartache? Them standing at the altar and finding out news and then the wedding's over. The shame, the embarrassment a person must feel going through that, which nobody should ever feel that way. So if you don't want to get married to somebody and they're your fiance, tell them ahead of time. It's still going to be heartbreaking, but it's not going to be in front of your entire wedding party and family and friends when everybody's expecting y'all to say I do at the end of the day and ride off into the sunset to your honeymoon. The last book I chose is by Abby Jimenez. It's called Yours Truly. It is the book of the month, book of the year for 2023. If you are a BFF of book of the month, you get to choose a book for free of all the 2023 book of the month, book of the year finalists. I chose the book that won book of the year, which is Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly, which is a romance. The quick take: two doctors, unlucky, in love, realize romance may still be in the cards, literally, when they start writing each other. This book is 400 plus pages. It's quirky, salacious, and fake dated. The synopsis: a novel of terrible first impressions, hilarious second chances, and the joy of finding your perfect match. Brianna Ortiz's life is seriously flatlining. Her divorce is about to be final. Her brother is running out of time to find a kidney donor, and she wants that promotion. Oh, that's probably going to the man who's already registering 80 freaking 7 on Brianna's pain in the butt scale. But just when all systems are set to hate, Dr. Jacob Maddox completely flips the game by sending Brianna a letter. And it's a really good letter, like the kind of one that proves that Jacob isn't actually Satan. Worst, he might just be the fantastical, funny, and the seriously likable guy who's terrible at first impression, because suddenly he and Bree are exchanging letters, sharing lunch dates in her sob closet, and discussing the marriage of freakishly tiny horses. But when Jacob decides to give Brianna the best gift unimaginable, a kidney for her brother, she wonders just how she can resist this quietly sexy new doctor, especially when he calls in a favor she can't refuse. This book sounds like a sweet love story. All the books that I talked about in this video, they intrigued me in some way. I picked 4, and the way I was able to do that, I am on the book of the month 2 credit a month plan, but because I am a BFF, which means I've been with book of the month a year or more. Book of the month has their book of the year contest where all the book of the month BFFs get to vote on the finalists, and then book of the month decides between the 5 finalists which book wins book of the year, which is the book I just discussed. And then the book of the month BFFs get to choose one of the finalist books for free. So that's how I'm getting this book. And then the Lynn Painter book that we talked about, Happily Ever After, is the book that I'm getting because you get a free book as a birthday gift in your birthday month on book of the month once you become a BFF. And March is my birthday month, so I was entitled to my free birthday book. And the other 2 books that we talked about came from my 2 monthly credit from book of the month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now.